Fashion Dolls, welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Joining me today, our very special guest is a Chicago native, and he's known for such hit shows such as Bruh and Games People Play. I'm super excited to be welcoming our very special guest for today, Barry Brewer. And ladies and gentlemen, my co-host Marco will be joining me in a bit. Hopefully, let me check my emails so that we can go ahead and get right into it. Hi Diva 803. Hi Fashion Dolls. I hope you guys are all doing marvelous today. Give it a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest is here, Barry Brewer Jr. And my co-host Marco will be helping me conduct this interview as well too. So let's share this so that we can get Marco in here as well, and we can get this interview started. And we're not going to keep Barry because he is such a busy man, ladies and gentlemen. But joining me today, Barry Brewer. And you know a diva has to have a fan, huh?
Hey,
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the dollhouse. How are you?
for having me. I'm well. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
But
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
thank you. Forgive that noise in the background. Somebody's cleaning up upstairs, and I didn't think it would be this loud. Actually, let me try to go downstairs. And it got louder. Is she done or no? She's going to be doing more of it? I'm sorry. This is called real life. Sorry. I'm going to go to my basement.
You are good. You are good.
But thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, I see you guys are coming in. I see you guys are coming in. My co-host Marco hopefully will be joining us as well too. So make sure you guys share this live, and let everyone know that we are live and in full effect.
Don't be loud.
And yes, shout outs to Diva 803. Happy Wisdom Wednesday, baby.
Okay. There we go.
All right, fashion dolls. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? I see y'all are all are coming in.
There we go.
All right, fashion dolls. Let's get into it. Let's get into this interview. So you were born in the South Side of Chicago. Tell us a little bit about that. What was it like for you growing up in Chicago?
Man, yes. Born and raised the south side of Chicago. Is that low enough? Um, yeah, growing up, I grew up all around, moved around a lot. It was, you know, I don't think you have a good you life is what it is for you when you grow up because you don't know anything else. So, growing up, I'm like, oh wow, it was tough. We were poor, crime in the inner city, but it was just the way of life for me. Um, my grandparents took me to church on the weekends when I was younger, so I got to kind of see a different world. And on the weekends I would get to see, families and, a positive uh, influence, at the church I went to, seeing people. And then during the week, poverty, drugs, drinking and stuff like that. So I kind of got the best of both worlds. Um, I tell people I learned how to fight and pray. Um, growing up in the hood and going to church. But I would say I had a good childhood. Obviously, the finding your way, but I really appreciate it now as an adult because I think it makes me appreciate what I have and the better, parts of life you can appreciate because you didn't always have. So I think that it makes you more grateful for, any blessings that's comes because you're like, man, I know what it felt like to not have. So to know that experience and to have this experience, is a blessing.
Absolutely. And you began your comedy career in 2002. You also did comedy for the church community as well, too. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Definitely, definitely. Starting stand up, I was always a fan of comedy. I was a big fan of Martin when I was younger. Like I said, for the weekend, and church was a big part of my music talents that I discovered in church. I our church had a lot of young people, so basketball is a big thing in that community too. So I learned that. So as I got older, I was around a lot of music, and this community choir was like, this guy was like, hey man, you should do some comedy. And I had already thought about it, but never tried it. And he's like, man, you're really funny. You should try it. And it was this concert that I was playing for, and they said you should do some comedy in the little intermission. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I wrote a set. And as a teenager, I got a standing ovation my first time doing comedy. And I was at the age where I wanted to discover, you know, you're trying to discover what you want to do in life. And at that point, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I never looked back, and I just been chasing that dream ever since. So church was my first place I did stand up. And obviously, initially, early on, wasn't a lot of opportunities to do comedy in church. So I started taking it to the comedy clubs. And I've been hitting the club and hitting the stage ever since.
Okay. And what has that experience been like for you? You know, you're out here now. You followed your passion. You followed your dream, going into a new quest. What is it like for you?
Man, it's a journey. I really want to say that. I don't think people speak about that enough. A journey when it comes with a whole lot of different things that you come across as you're going down your journey and chasing your dreams. It comes with some bumps in the roads. It comes with some detours. It comes with some some accidents along the way. It's just a lot that happens along the journey. It's been a blessing. Nevertheless, it's been definitely a blessing because I've learned so much. I've grown so much. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. Um, and I've been, instead of, you know, sometimes we have the goal in mind, and then you should always keep that in mind. But sometimes you need to, I'm learning to enjoy the way there too. The moments that happens along the journey, you know, the moments I didn't have, the things I didn't understand, even some of the mistakes and things I made along the way, to be grateful for that experience, so that when I do get to the place that I've been working towards, that I'm ready, I'm prepared, I have the necessary things I need to sustain myself at that place. So, you know, I know I'm speaking in general, but it's been up and down. But most of the, you know, at this point, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for even the bad parts. And I don't know if you remember being younger, whether it was spankings or those bad moments that you had with your parents or whatever. You know, you didn't appreciate it then, but you can look back and say, man, I'm glad some of those moments happened, because it taught me some lessons that that helps me today in my life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. 100%. And speaking of lessons and blessings, you also competed on Bill Bellamy's Who's Got Jokes and the Comedy Dynamics alongside one of the most, well, I'm a fashion girl. Everybody knows that. Miss Tiffany Haddish. What was that
Yeah.
experience like? Did you ever expected her or yourself to ever blow up and have this superstardom from one of the comedy greats like Bill Bellamy? What was that like for you?
Man, you know, that's a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that, first of all. So kudos to you about, I don't hear a lot about Who's Got Jokes, but I always consider Tiffany Haddish, Little Rel. I consider us like classmates, right? Um, a, a quick little story about Tiffany. You know, I moved to LA in '04, and I've known her since then. We always hit the clubs. And I was going through my test run of Who's Got Jokes in '06 on stage. Like, we all get on stage and kind of just, you know, no audience members. And Tiffany was sitting while I was doing my little test run in the audience. And when I got off stage, Tiffany says, she gave me such a great compliment. She's like, you have such a presence, and you're going to be great. You're going to be big. She told me this. I was like, thank you, Tiffany. And I always knew Tiffany was, she always, the charisma she has, the energy she has, the likability she has, like how people are like, oh my God, when you see her in movies, Tiffany has always had that. You can go back to Who's Got Jokes and you could see it. It's evident, like, oh, she's a star. You know what I mean? And she's always had that charisma and just that it factor. So working with people like her and Little Rail and some of the other counterparts of people that I kind of came along with, it's such a blessing to see people's stars shining, because you often don't see good people winning, but I believe that this is a true testament of good people winning, because Tiffany is one of those people who's truly always been encouraging of other people. She was never a hater, whether you was a woman comic, you know, whatever. Like, she's never been a negative person. She's always been so cheering everybody else on. You know, even though we were in a comedy competition, I don't think that was her mindset. It was more so like, hey, we're on TV and the world's going to get to see our gift, you know. And so it was an honor to be working with her, and just, you know, seeing her it is a blessing that you can see people that you started out with and to look everywhere and see them. I actually ran into her like a year ago at the All-Star game in Chicago, and you know, she saw my son and she was telling my son how she remembered when he was in the stomach of his mom. And it was just like the fact that she remembered that and that she brought that up and that she had that moment was just her way of, and maybe I guess for me, like, hey, we got history together, we're family, always will be. And so I'm very grateful for people like her and to have, you know, cross paths with her. But Bill Bellamy's Who's Got Jokes was a very great experience for me. It was one of my moments that I think gave me some notoriety. Working with Bill Bellamy, obviously, you know, he's been a, you know, staple of comedy back there with Martin Lawrence and the Bernie Macs of the world with Def Jam. And then got to work with Tommy Ford, you know, who was the Pope of comedy on the show. Rest his soul, who was such a blessing to me outside of the show. He did a short film that I wrote for nothing, just out of the kindness of his heart. So it was just a really good experience to have the camaraderie of the other comics and to meet people like Bill Bellamy and Tommy Ford. And Ralph Farquhar was the creator who created Moesha and some shows like that. He created that show, Who's Got Jokes. So being able to just be in the presence of Black excellence and people who have been doing it and to learn and to have that experience was really amazing.
And speaking of Black excellence, I just seen his name flash in here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rodney Perry, and he screamed, Brewer.
Hey,
So
and Rodney
shout outs
Perry
to
was
him.
one of the co-hosts of Who's Got Jokes. So shout out to my big bro Rodney Perry. That he was the first person to take me on the road with him. And he told me my first time I took him on the road, he's like, yeah, you're not gonna be an opener for long. You're definitely a headliner. So I love him and appreciate him. And if I could say one word to sum up my journey, it would be gratitude. You know, it really
Yes.
would be gratitude because, you know, despite all, sometimes we give the negative things that's happened to us a lot of energy and a lot of, you know what I mean? But you have so many blessings that you can really maximize and put your attention on. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I'm rooting for you. I continue to pray that you just continue to blossom and continue to do what you do.
Oh, don't make me cry now, Barry. Not, I, shout outs to my makeup artist. Y'all not about to make me cry today up in here.
You the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm rooting for you. Like, you know, it's a lot going on in the world. So I'm just really happy that somebody's chasing their dreams and they're not caring about what people say and what the naysayers say, that they know that they have a gift and they know they have a dream and they're doing it the way they feel in their heart to do it and not caring about anything else. So I want to encourage you to keep going after that.
Thank you so much. There's a lot coming from you. You have a lot of support in here as well. I've seen some of the comments talking about Tyler Perry's show, Bruh, which we'll get to. But another thing I didn't know about you is that you work with some musical artists as well too.
Yes.
And you've had two studio albums. You work with the vocal Bible herself, Brandy. You work
Yes.
with Ray J, and you work with Tank. So
Yes.
what was it like working with these powerhouses of voices? What
Um,
was that experience like for you?
it was a dream come true. So my two favorite singers is Brandy and Tank. Who knew, right? So living, growing up in Chicago, Full Moon is one of my favorite albums. If I had to be stuck on an island for the rest of my life, Full Moon would be the album I would take with me and not even think twice. If I had another one, probably would be a Tank album, but I'm a Stevie Wonder head too. But um, so I admired these people, and when I moved to LA, I grew up in church. Like I said, I grew up playing drums, keys. Um, as my studio is in the background, my little setup. I do music and produce and love it. It's been a big part of my life. I got to meet Ray J randomly at a movie in Detroit that we were doing. He was just there in the same hotel, hearing me play the piano. And he was like, man, you sound good. And we connected. He's like, oh, you live in LA? I was like, yeah, I live in LA. He's like, let's connect. And he was living with Brandy at the time. He was living with his sister. He was in between houses. And he was like, yeah, give me some lessons. So we start connecting. And I was just going over to Brandy's house all day, every day, hanging out with him, and Brandy would be there, and I became friends with her. Like sometimes Ray J wouldn't even be there, and she would let me in, and I'm just at her house waiting for him. And that's just how cool she was. And Brandy actually came to one of my comedy shows before. Her and her cousin Ryan, she showed up to one of my comedy shows just on a whim. I was talking to her cousin. She was in the car with him, and I told him I was having a show. And she's like, where is that? And I told her, it's at the Comedy Union. She's like, I'm coming. And she came. She came, pulled up, came to my comedy show. And let me just say this about her, because I don't think she gets enough praise and enough credit of her, of who she is outside of her talent. She's really a beautiful, both of them are, Ray J too. They're really beautiful people, you know.
Yes.
And after I get off on stage, I had a great set. And I get off stage and I come to the back, and Brandy runs to me and jumps and holds me like, oh my God, you're so funny. You are a star. And she was just, and I'm like in a like a Twilight Zone. I'm like, is this Brandy? Like, she wasn't like super like, oh, I'm who I'm. She was like cheering me on. And I was just like, wow. Like, and so anyway, it was a blessing. I got to write and produce some songs that I submitted to her that she recorded. It didn't make the album, but me and my songwriting partner at the time was producing songs and creating songs. And I had submitted one song. I was going to submit it. I let Ray J hear it first. He said, no, that's trash. Your demo's got to sound like real records that's ready to go on the radio. So Ray J taught me that. He let me hear some records to people that was submitting to her. And then she heard some stuff, and she was like, oh man, I love your production. And that was my opportunity with her. Tank is another story of Big Tank. So I'm in Atlanta on this thing. Jamie Foxx used to have this conference called Laugh-A-Palooza that he brings a lot of comics. This is one of the platforms that really kind of lit a fire under Kevin Hart's career. So I moved to LA in 2004. Kevin Hart I saw Kevin all the time. I know Kevin from the comedy club. We see each other all the time. So I couldn't get backstage. Kevin Hart got me backstage. Kevin was like, you want to come backstage? I was like, yeah. Kev got me backstage. Jamie Foxx had randomly saw me playing the piano. Again, this is me playing the piano. This is how I got into Tank's world. Jamie Foxx saw me playing the piano, and they were going to kick me out, but Jamie Foxx told them to let me play. He sees me backstage while he's hosting Laugh-A-Palooza. This is when Kevin Hart is on stage with he had like a lime green or some type of shirt on. And I'm standing right by Jamie. He's talking about how special Kevin is. I got to witness Jamie watching the monitor. He's like, this boy's going to be big. Jamie saying that, and I'm sitting here watching. I'm like in the thick of it. So Jamie said, hey, you know where a piano is? This is my first time in Atlanta. I'm probably like 22 years old at the time. I've never been to Atlanta. I'm like, yeah, I can get you a piano. He's like, okay, cool. Go get me a piano. So I go outside. I'm looking like, is it a lounge or something? I go into this random lounge like a block away, or is it across the street? I don't recall. And somebody's packing up. They just got through performing. I said, hey, Jamie Foxx wants to use your piano. He's doing a show across the street. He was a white guy. He's like, can I meet Jamie Foxx? I'm like, yeah, it's your piano. I like you, you know what I mean? So I get the piano. I go take it. I set it up. Jamie Foxx said, cool. So I'm thinking Jamie's gonna play. Jamie said, cool, you're gonna play for me and Tank. So Tank comes out the blue. I knew he was there. Tank was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna play for y'all. They was like, yeah, we're gonna go serenade the ladies after the show. So I'm kind of like shocked. I'm like, you sure? Jamie was like, you could play. I heard you play, right? I'm like, yeah, yeah. So then Tank like, yeah, just put us in E flat, and he plays some chords, like do this. And I'm just like in awe, looking at him show me some chords. I'm like, oh wow, okay, okay. And I got to play for Jamie and Tank, and they go serenade the crowd after. Pretty Ricky, I think. Who is that rap group with the eye patch? Who is that? Back in the day, you don't know them. Anyway, they were there. It was a whole thing. And so from that, Tank gave me his information. He's like, yeah, man, I'll be back and forth from Atlanta. Because this was before Tank. This was when his career kind of went on that dip. Remember, like, this is before Please Don't Go. So he was kind of like writing like for a lot of people. His artistry, he was kind of like he got faded out a little bit. So he was just producing and writing. And so I got to hang out with him, met up with him at the studio in LA at the Underdog Studio. He showed me some things, played me some records, was giving me tips on production. And yeah, and that's how I work with Tank. So those are really fun stories I like telling, because it's, I was like in the thick of some things. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool that you got to experience that.
And the audience is enjoying it. So okay, fast forward. You've played for Tank and Jamie Foxx, and now you're on two of the hottest shows on BET Plus, which is Bruh, alongside one of my favorite singers as well too, because I'm a little bit of an old head when it comes to music. I grew up on Mary J. Blige, Usher, Janet Jackson, Anita Baker,
Yeah,
Sade. That's the era of music that I kind of grew up
that's
with.
good music.
Miss Chandra Corelli,
Oh
who
my
is
God.
also a singer. She was a part of the SOS band. So you're on the show, Bruh, with her and Tyler Perry. What was it like getting the call for Tyler Perry to audition for this show?
Oh man, it was surreal, as best as I can put it in words. It was surreal to get the opportunity to audition for the show. One, to then book the show was a whole nother wow factor, right? Because I mean, I think people, they can say what they want, but Tyler Perry is such a huge staple in the African American entertainment community. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's no other black person that has the power to create their own and not need to ask anybody anything. I want to do a show about frogs. I'm gonna do it. Boom, it's done. Right? I know he wouldn't do that, but maybe he will. But in being in the industry as long as I've had, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of, we talk about our stories not being heard and said and written and seeing them on the big screen. This is one person that's put us in a position to be able to do that and
Yeah.
inspire a whole bunch of other people to put themselves in a position to help our community to see more of our stories being told in television and film. So the audition was a surreal experience. Going through the process was surreal. He told me in my third audition, in the middle of my audition, that I had the part. That was really a confident booster, right? Like, I wouldn't even finish. Like, you got the part, you got the part, you got the part, right? And that was amazing. Then being on set and him giving me a green light to create, right? Like, letting me go. He told me the first day, he said, have fun. And when you tell a comedian that, a comedic actor that's giving him the keys to the car. Like, hey, go drive, go have fun. So it's been such a great experience. I've learned so much. I've had a lot of fun. My cast, I can't speak enough of them. Miss Chandra Corelli, I'm actually working on a song, producing a song for her. I want to help her with her album. So you're going to be seeing a lot from us, from John and Alice. I love her. She's definitely like a second mom to me. Her spirit is, she's given me such a confidence in working like on set. Because you're working with Mr. Perry, you're looking like, oh shoot, this the one and
Uh
only,
huh.
right? And she been working with him forever, so you kind of want to lean on her. And she's like, no, you driving this ship, go ahead. I'm following your lead. I'm like, you know this better than me. She's like, no, we following you. So she's also helped me with giving me a confident booster and just allowing me to go for it. You know what I mean? So I absolutely love her and her vocal ability and she's a
Oh,
singer. She's a singer. So it's just been an experience. Like, it's a dream come true. I'm living my dream. I'm in it. It's such a amazing feeling. I can't say anything, but I'm so grateful that I believed and that I kept believing and I kept fighting. And I'm going to continue to do so that I can continue to see my dreams unfold. And I pray that that's an inspiration to other people for their dreams to unfold.
and they are. Shout outs to you because your original series, When the Whole Crew is Stupid, which garnered 25 million views.
Yeah.
25 million views. What was your reaction to it's like when Nicki Minaj did the Anaconda video and Ellen asked her what was your reaction to it breaking the internet. This broke the internet right here. So what
Yeah.
was your reaction to this? 25 million views.
Yeah, and it's still going. We are there is no I don't think you can put it in words. It's surreal. you always work, especially with the new world of internet. As a comedian, you pray to go viral. You pray that the right thing goes viral, right? Because you don't want to go right. You could be viral on the wrong side of viral, right? You don't want to be on the wrong side of viral. So it just goes to show that you just never know. And if you continue to work, things work out. And I wouldn't have ever been able to tell you that would have went viral. And you just don't know. You don't know. But um, I'm amazed. I'm amazed at the success and the popularity it's brought me. I started noticing it when people are noticing me, like in the airport and in the streets. Like, oh yeah, you from the word Mises Mises, and people say it even now. Yeah, like that's actually more known. I think I'm more popular for that than anything else that I've done. Right. And then I have another joke that's went viral, but I'm just grateful. I can't even tell you because I don't understand it, right? Because you just never know what hit. So I just think it's kind of ordained, and I'm a little more spiritual, thinking like, hey, it's just what God had for you. So that's
Yes.
why it happened the way it did. But there's no words to understand or express how it makes you feel. It's just like it's a bubbly feeling, and it makes you feel grateful. Like, man, I'm glad. I'm glad I kept going. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I collaborated. I'm glad I kept my integrity. I'm glad I worked with people who I believed in, and I thought that their creativity was like mine, and not just because they had numbers or they were, oh, he has 1 million followers, so let me go collaborate with him. No, it was like, hey, creatively, I like how we work. Let's do it. And we made some quality things that went viral. So I didn't go viral on something. I was just chasing some empty type of concept. So yeah, I'm sorry. I talk a lot.
No, and it all works in your favor. So we only have a few more minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. My last question for you, and then I'm gonna take a few
Thanks
from the
for
audience. Um, where do you see yourself manifesting into the new year? Because we are now closing out December, going into a whole new year, a whole new month, a whole new vision, a whole new mindset. Where do you see yourself, or who would you like to collaborate with in the future? Who comes to your mind?
I see myself expounding on more of the things that's transpired already, as far as television and film, bigger television, bigger film, bigger opportunities musically, being able to have a platform to open up doors for people like yourself and other people's who has a lot of talent and concepts, to give them a platform to do what they do well. I think that's one thing that I've really learned and been blessed by with Mr. Tyler Perry, is the when you chase your dreams opens up doors for other people's dreams to come
Mm.
true. And that's special in how God works. So I plan on expounding more on that. The people I would love to work with, this one name keeps coming to me because I really do want to work with it. I always did, is Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, my
I'm a
girl.
huge Whoopi fan. I don't know what's the connection, but since I've started, even prior, I just always been a big fan of her her period, in every way, creatively, personally. I don't know her personally, but from what I can gather and see from her interviews or her on The View and her perspective on things, she just seemed like a real one, and she's so special, and I would love to sit and work with her and collaborate with her on a level. So I'm gonna just keep putting it out there. I went to Mr. Perry. I heard that they were doing Sister Act 3, and I asked him about it. I went, this is why we were filming Bruh. I went to him after one. I said, hey, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, you doing the thing? He's like, yeah, we're going to be producing it. I was like, oh, okay. And I ain't bug him no more about it, but I'm going to bug him again when I see him. I'm like, hey, if it's something, I'm going to keep bugging him, because I just, since I have him in my, in my presence, I'm going to just take my opportunity. What's the worst he could say but no? But
It's gonna happen. Someone in the audience said that they could see y'all working together. And speaking of audience, do we have any questions for Barry before we conclude this interview? Fashion Dolls, this was such a great, amazing interview. We didn't get a chance to do our rapid five, which is where Barry tells us 5 things he can't live without.
well, let's do it while they putting while they putting the questions in there.
Okay. All right. Rapid five, ladies and gentlemen. Barry has to tell us 5 things he can't live without.
Buffalo wings, Jasmine Brewer, um, my son, basketball, my friends and family.
Oh, that's fine. And it's a good choice. Only believe you will achieve. And someone says, wait a minute, Barry and Whoopi. Yes, I could see it in the future. It's all about manifestation. Whatever you put out there in the universe, it will come full circle. So I'm a firm believer of that.
I believe that too. I believe that too.
Do we have any questions for Barry before we conclude this amazing interview, Fashion Dolls? You can also catch Barry on another one of my favorite shows, which is Games People Play. So that's another
Thanks.
hot show that's on BET Plus as well too. So you want to
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that while they're getting ready?
Oh man, that was that's such a blessing. That thank you for bringing that one up because the games people play. Shout out to Tracy Edmonds and Vanessa Middleton and the whole crew and cast from that show. Man, they gave me my first opportunity on television to showcase what I was capable of, and I'm so very grateful to them to have given me that opportunity. I got to play a character that I couldn't ever see myself playing. They allowed me, to do me too. I enjoyed it. It was just such an opportunity that I'm grateful. I got to really work closely with Lauren London and Karen Oblum and Saronis and Parker, and Kendall, and my boy who we work on Brother together, Monty Washington. And it just was a blessing. And I'm just very grateful to Tracy Edmonds and Vanessa Middleton for giving me the opportunity. And I think that that gave me the confidence to go into the audition of Bruh and be more confident that I am capable and able to do this and be a lead, And I think once you get an opportunity like games people play that I got, it boosts your confidence. So when you walk into an audition
Oh
room,
yeah.
you're like, oh, I can do this. When you get something, it gives you a booster, a confidence booster. So shout out to them. I love the show. I think it brings a lot of elements that people love. Sports. I love basketball. The drama part with the killing, the who murder mystery. I think it was something very unique we haven't seen. So, yeah, if y'all haven't checked out Games People Play season 2, just the finale just came on the network, and but both seasons is on BET Plus. And if I can give a shameless plug, Bruh will be premiering on network TV January 11th. Bruh will be on the network. I don't know if people know Bruh is a spinoff of Sisters. So they're going to bring the first season of Bruh to network television. So please, if you have BET, please support, please turn it on, please DVR it or record it so they can see that this show needs to be promoted and in front of everybody on the network. Bruh comes on January 11th at 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern time on BT.
All right, Fashion Dolls, and I see some questions rolling in. Um, Shout outs to my girl Diva 803. Where do you see yourself in 5 years and what makes you happy? And I've seen some questions in the audience.
I see myself, like I said, in 5 years, just a, a how can I say it, in a stronger position, entertainment wise, as an actor, as a producer, director, filmmaker, um, to help others, right? Because I really see myself there in 5 years, to really open up doors and platforms for other people to really do what they're gifted in. Not just be an actor, someone who's hired, but someone who can give jobs to others. And what makes me happy, seeing my family and friends happy around me and being
Mm.
able to do something to help add to that happiness really brings me joy. On Christmas, I really was like looking at other people, and it's funny that question was posed because I think I like seeing making people happy and making their life better. I think that's a part of who I'm meant to be because I think that I really get a lot of pleasure out of that. You know what I mean? And being a comedian and being somebody that entertains people, I can see why I'm like that, right? Like knowing that I made somebody laugh or made their day better,
Mm-hmm.
really adds joy to me.
Mara wants to know for Barry, what inspired Motivational Mondays? And Marco, shout outs to him. He says, how do you keep grounded and focused? And let me see. It was
Motivation.
another question. Someone
Okay.
also asked, how many seasons of Bruh do you think will run? And that is from D Rex.
Okay, I'll answer that one first. I don't know. I pray a lot. Right now we just filmed season 3, so they'll be coming out next year. I pray it goes for 8, 9 years. I don't know. That's that question. How do I stay? Well, the first question was I know how I stay grounded and focused. And what
Motivational Mondays. Yeah.
Motivational Mondays, that's what I want to say. Motivational Mondays was inspired by just who I am. And shout out to July, November, trying to help me find out, like, was picking my brain to say, as I start to do social media and you're trying to brand yourself, who are you? And Motivational Mondays was a part of who I was already and how I talk, and saying, well, let me do something like that on my social media that really shows people a part of another part of me. And so Motivational Mondays was birthed from that. And I shout out them because they helped me kind of discover to do that. That would be, help social media, but be honest and authentic to who I am and what I'm about. So that was that. How I say grounded and focused is understanding that my blessings and my gift come from God, right?
Yeah.
Understanding that I'm not the reason why I have this gift, one, and I'm also not the reason why I have the opportunities that I have. I think if I always remember that I'm the one who's given this gift, a gift is something given to you, right? Right. Your gift to moderate and to host, right? That's a gift God gave you. That, you know what I mean? You just gotta perfect the craft, but it was gift, it was something you were given. So it's no reason to ever feel like bougie or uppity or treat somebody less than because somebody gave you something. That's something to be
Mm-hmm.
always humbled by, I think. And then to stay focused is to know the goal in mind, know what I'm trying to obtain. So that's what keeps me focused because I want to see the results of that coming to pass. So I stay reminding myself, why am I doing the things that I'm doing, so that I keep my focus on the thing or the objective at hand so that I can be effective and get the results I want.
And the last question was, how did you learn to play the piano? And this is from Mark.
Yes, church. Church is it was a gift, another gift. Church was a big part of why I tapped into music. I started on the drums, and I think drums to the piano and organ is kind of a natural transition if you know church. And as you start to gig in church, you start to see that keyboard players make more money than drummers. So that's also another factor that encourages you to move on to that side of the instruments. My cousin played, and he showed me a run. He showed me one run on the piano, and I just loved it. I loved it, and I love music, so I kind of took a liking to it, and it came easy to me. And I honestly learned how to play by ear, and I didn't go to school for keys, Koji guess. And that's how I learned. Church, learning church songs, playing for a church, learning material for Sunday morning, and just doing that over and over again. And I've become, gifted in that way for that.
Okay,
Shout out
okay.
to Philip Mullings Jr., who plays Mike on Bro, who's in the room. Shout out to him.
All right, fashion dolls, and those are all the questions. Do we have any more before we conclude this amazing interview and conversation? Because I can't keep Barry. Shout outs to Kayla for conducting this beautiful, beautiful conversation here, just putting it all
Thank you,
together. It just
Kayla.
tied in perfectly. So thank you, Kayla, and to my fashion dolls out there. Before we go, Barry, is there anything you'd like to leave, any encouraging words that you would like to leave to your followers, to your supporters, because you have such a huge support system?
Thank you. Just continue to chase your dreams. I really want people to know that dreams come true. And I think that at some point that is been taken from us. And we have one life to live and enjoy it and try to live intentional in all that you do. And just thank you so much for having me and wanting me on your platform. And I want to encourage you to keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Don't I know sometimes you may be discouraged, but just don't give up and continue to press forward. Never give up.
Thank you so much. I definitely will. And it was such an honor having you here, just talking with you. Your personality is everything. And make sure you guys please go and check out Bruh and Games People Play on BET Plus, and check out Bruh on BET Networks. It will be going there in January. So make sure you guys tune in and go and check it out. Tomorrow, Fashion Dolls, we have Jonathan Burke from the hit show Harlem, which features my girl, Megan Good. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow for that interview. We love you all, and thank you so much, Barry, for just giving us a few minutes of your time. And thank you, Kayla, for making it all happen, my love.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Take care, Fashion Dolls. We love you, and thank you, Barry.
No problem. Thank you.
You're
Bye.
so welcome.